and welcome to our practice today. I'll invite you to just find a position to sit in and where you can have a nice tall spine. I happen to be using a block underneath my hips. You could use a pillow or a blanket or just sit on the floor, whatever feels best for you. And just take a moment here to close your eyes. And taking a couple of minutes to check in with how we're feeling. Recent events being what they are, you may find that you're feeling a little bit isolated, a little bit lethargic, a little bit overwhelmed, a little bit anxious, maybe shutting down a little bit. Whatever it is that you find, please know that we are seeking not from a place of judgment, simply so that we can acknowledge. Our minds and our bodies are always connected, and our thoughts have a great effect on how our bodies feel. So when we take a few moments to just check in, we can begin to make the change, to move the body in a way that will discharge some of that fear and anxiety, to allow our minds a little bit more peace. Letting yourself settle in for a few breaths of introspection and honesty and compassion. Start to breathe a little deeper than you normally do now. Breathing in through the nose to fill up your belly, fill up your chest. And breathing out through the nose to send the shoulders a little further from the ears to soften any tension around your heart space. And just continue to breathe mindfully and deeply.
The power of now is here now. The power of you is here to create magic on us. The power of love is here now. The power of now is here now. The power of you is here to create magic on us.
Slowly let your hands come to your heart space. Let your eyes open. Allow the arms to rise up overhead as you breathe in. As you breathe out, release those arms out to the sides, reaching down to touch the earth. And inhale, let the arms rise. Exhale, twist your body to the left side. Let your arms just land. Lift your chin just a little. Lengthen your spine and revolve on the exhale. Slowly unwind. Let the hands come back to your sides. Inhale, reach those arms up overhead, stretching and lengthening. And then exhale, twist to the right. Lengthen and revolve.
Power of you is here to create magic on us. The power of love is here now. The power of now is here.
Slowly unwind.
The power of you is here to create magic.
Let your left arm rise to shoulder height. As you exhale, come across your body. As you inhale, sweep open. As you exhale, lift up and overhead. And then inhale and exhale back to the side. The right arm lifts to shoulder height. Bring it across your body. Sweep back and reach over. Lift up and over your head. And come back down to your side. Both arms now lifting up.
Let the water wash away your
Exhale into the heart. Bow your head.
Let the fire burn away your fear.
Let the arms come down in front, hands on the ground. Perhaps walk those hands away. Fold.
Such faith and trust, oh, let the earth hold you, take care of you, nurture you.
Draw your belly in, stack your spine, come back up to sitting tall. Head comes up last. We're going to make our way into a table position. We're just removing any support that you have. Come on to hands and knees. And begin to move the spine. So as you inhale, let your belly fall, your tailbone rises, lift your gaze. And as you exhale, tuck your tailbone, round your spine, push into the ground strongly. Inhale, belly down, heart forward, shoulders back. Exhale, draw that belly in and lift the spine to the ceiling. And we'll go one more time. Inhaling. And exhaling. Neutralize your spine. Curl your toes under. Lift your tailbone. Lift your heart a little bit. Start to lift your knees and begin to press your hips back, your tailbone up, descending your heels to the ground and dropping your chin towards your chest. If it feels better to move, go ahead and press one heel down at a time, or just stay still in down dog, connecting with your breath once again. Start to walk your feet up to the top of the mat. When you get there, nice ragdoll, forward fold. Drop that chin right in. As you inhale, place your hands on your shins. Lift your head and shoulders level with your hips, flat back. Exhale, release back down. Inhale deeply as you rise halfway. Exhale, let it go. Sweep the arms out to the side, press your feet into the earth, rise. And draw that energy into your heart space. Release your hands from your heart, let them rise up overhead, deep inhale. Come through the heart center as you exhale, fold your body in half. As you inhale, there's a half lift with a long spine, strong legs. Exhale, release down, fingertips to the ground, step your right foot to the back of the mat. Let your knee drop down to the earth. Allow your arms to float up over your head, shoulders back over your hips. Bend deeply into that front leg. Pull your right hip forward a little, your arms back a little further. Let those arms float down to your sides. Keep lifting your heart. Place your right hand down underneath your shoulder on the mat. Your left hand's gonna rise, twisting and reaching through this lunge. As you exhale, hands gonna come down to the mat. We're gonna curl the back toes under here, lift the knee, and then soften into that knee in order to step forward to the top of the mat. Let yourself hang once again. As you inhale, half lift. As you exhale, release the fingertips down. Step your left foot to the back of the mat. Let the knee come down, uncurl those toes. Raise the arms, lift the waist away from the hips, and extend. float your arms down. Left hand under the shoulder on the mat, right one reaches up. Hand comes down, curl the back toes, lift the knee, and then soften the knee. Step forward, front of the mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale. Sweep the arms back overhead. Press the feet back into the earth. Come into your heart. Release the hands, let them rise. Move them through the heart center as you fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, soften, step your right foot to the back of the mat. Let the knee melt down, let the arms rise up. As you exhale, throw it away. Inhale, rise. Exhale, release. Inhale, rise. Exhale, hands come down, frame your foot. Lift your back knee, but also lift your chest a little. Try to lengthen here. Pull that right hip slightly forward. Lift your inner thigh on that back leg. Send your left foot back to join your right foot. Let your knees touch the ground. Bend your elbows towards your hips and lower belly and chest to the earth. Press into the tops of your feet. Pull your elbows back. Lift your heart. Back of the neck is long. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale. Press into hands and knees. Come back to table position. Curl your toes under. Begin to lift your tailbone, lift your chest just a little, then lift your hips, press them back. Straighten your legs as much as you can. Send your heels towards the earth. Press the hands down and forward. Pull the belly up and in, the tailbone high. Relax your neck. Walk your feet to the top of the mat. As you breathe in, half lift, lengthen. As you breathe out, fingertips down, step your left foot to the back of the mat. Let your knee come down, uncurl the toes, raise those arms, press into your right foot. Exhale, throw it away. Inhale, lift and rise. Exhale, release. Inhale. Exhale. Take your hands down, turn the back toe under. Lift your knee, lift your chest, lift your gaze, look ahead. Lift your left inner thigh a little bit more, lift your belly. Slide your right foot back to join your left foot. You can drop the knees if you like, or stay strong through the body. Bend the elbows back and lower slowly to the earth. Point your toes, lift your heart, baby cobra. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Press through table, curl the toes, find downward dog, send the hips back, heels down. And then walk your feet for me to the center of the mat. Walk your hands back to join your feet. So you're standing right in the middle here. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, let it go. Sweep those arms, let them rise. Come into your heart. We're just going to turn sideways on the mat so that you are facing the long side of your mat now. Take a big step out with both feet. So you're about 5 feet apart. Let your arms come out to your sides. Your toes are pointing in the same direction, but we're going to pivot on your right heel and turn the toes to face the opposite direction. We're going to lean across that extended leg here on the right. Take your fingertips down to rest gently on your shin. Your other fingertips are going to reach for the ceiling. And then open up. Send your rib cage down a little lower. Lengthen your spine. Press into both feet strongly here. Draw the belly in. Let yourself rise. Nice and slow. Good. We're going to turn the right toes back in the same direction as the left. Pivot on the left heel. Left toes are now turning to face the short end of the mat. Drop your left hip and reach across. Nice straight body here. Fingertips down. Other hand reaches for the sky. We pivot the rib cage as we press the rib cage a little bit lower. Looking up if it feels okay. Looking down if the neck is tired or stiff today, just let it relax. Press into both feet, draw up through the legs, through the belly, let the arms come to shoulder height. Turn the toes back in the same direction again. Take a deep inhale, lift your chest. And as you exhale, come to a flat back here. Extend out your arms, look down to the mat. And then as you exhale, see if you can grab onto your big toes. And if you can't, just grab onto the outside of your legs. Lift up through the chest, and then exhale, bend your elbows out to the side. Let your body lower a little bit more here. Press into the baby toe edges of your feet. Lift your arches, lift your pelvic floor. Shoulders moving towards your hips, not towards your ears. Take another deep breath. As you inhale, take the fingertips to the floor. Lift up and lengthen your spine. Look towards your right foot here. We're going to walk those hands all the way around. Finding that low lunge position. Step your foot back to downward facing dog. As you inhale, come forward into plank. Drop the knees if you like, or exhale the straight body to the earth. Point your toes, press into those feet, raise your chest, and perhaps come up a little higher now. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, come forward to plank. Scoop in through the belly. Press the space between your shoulder blades up. Bend your elbows back, lower to the earth. Point your toes, lift your heart. Downward dog. Walk your feet to the center of the mat. Walk your hands back to meet your feet. You can bend your knees. As you breathe in, half lift, lengthen. Let go. Sweep your arms over your head. Come into your heart space. Quarter turn to face the long end of the mat again. Take a big step out, both feet. Let your arms come out to shoulder height. Pivot on your right heel, turn the toes to face the short end of the mat. Try to keep your spine lifted and long as you bend in to your right knee. And then press really strongly into your left foot and try to lift your inner ankle up here. The thighs are firm, the arms are reaching. We're looking out over that right hand, bending into warrior two. Breathe, settle your shoulders down, draw the belly in. And then take your front forearm here on the right hand and place it down on your thigh. Your left is going to come to the back of your body, palm facing away. We're just going to pull back on that upper arm and elbow to turn the body towards that long side of the mat, opening up your chest. Dropping the rib cage a little towards the thigh, extending through that back leg. And then letting that arm float over your head so that your bicep meets your ear and you're stretching your fingertips away from your ankle. Nice long body here. Press into the legs. Breathe deep. Slowly rise using your legs and belly as support. Excellent. Turn your right toes forward. And then pivot on your left heel, turn the left toes. Extend through the arms, extend through the spine. Bend into the left leg. Push into your right leg, just as strong as the left. Look out over your left hand. Lift your chin just a little. Breathe. Take your left forearm down onto your thigh. Your right hand's going to go behind your back, palm away, and then open up the upper arm, the shoulder, to get the heart to face the long side. Lower the rib cage towards the thigh just a little. Push into your right leg. And then let that arm float out over your head. Extending bicep right beside your face. Arms reaching away. Try not to lean too heavily into your leg. Use the strength of your body here to support you in this position. Engage the legs, engage the core, rise. Toes are going to turn to face the same direction. Arms are going to come behind your back now. Interlace your fingers if you can, and then see if you can straighten your arms. Lifting up through the center of your chest. Take a huge inhale, and as you exhale, come forward to a flat back. Look down to the ground, press your knuckles back so that your arms elongate as much as possible. Take another deep inhale. And as you exhale, fold a little deeper. Maybe the arms will rise. And then just try to relax the chest and shoulders, letting those arms come a little further forward if they will. Don't force your body. Just feel a nice release. Slowly let the hands return to the back. Let the shoulders come level with your hips. And then release your hands down in front of your chest. Look towards your right foot. Walk those hands around. Step your right foot back to join your left foot. Lower your body to the ground. Point your toes. Lift your chest to whatever degree feels right for you. Curl your toes downward facing dog. As you breathe in, scoop forward to plank. As you breathe out, maybe come all the way or maybe just halfway to the ground. Come onto the tops of your feet, lift your chest, downward dog. Walk your feet all the way to the top of the mat now. As you breathe in, there's a half lift. As you breathe out, let it go. Sweep those arms overhead. Come through the heart center as you fold. Fingertips down, just gaze ahead, lengthen your spine. Exhale, soften, take your right foot to the back of the mat. Let your arms rise up, stay deep in that left leg. As you exhale, reaching forward, let the fingertips come back down. Step back, left foot. Lower to the earth. Lift your heart. Downward dog. Step your right foot forward to the top of the mat. Let your arms rise over the shoulders, shoulders over the hips. Exhale, release down. Step the right foot back to join the left. Lower down. Lifting up with an inhale. Exhale back, down dog. Walk your feet to the center of the mat. Walk your hands back to join your feet. As you breathe in, half lift. As you breathe out, let it go. Sweep the arms. Let the palms meet. And come into your heart. Quarter turn to face the long end of the mat. We're going to take another big step out, both feet. This time, let's turn your toes out and bring your heels in slightly. Allow your heart to lift as you breathe in. And as you breathe out, bend your knees. Sit down low, try to tuck the tailbone down, keep your shoulders lifted over top of those hips. Press your heart into your hands. Just close your eyes. Feel the grounding, feel the strength, feel the heat. One more deep breath. As you inhale, let yourself rise up. As you exhale, send your heels back out to join your toes. Take your arms back out to shoulder height. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, fold, flat back. Take your hands to the ground, and this time let's walk those hands back a little bit more between your feet. Inhale to just feel the length of the spine before exhale and releasing the head down towards the earth. Try to draw your elbows a little closer together and lift the inner arches of your feet. Inhale, lets us rise up halfway, move the hands slightly forward. Exhale, look to the right foot, walk all the way around. Step the right foot back to join the left foot. Lift your hips, downward facing dog. Now spread out those fingers, spread out those hands, make them flat on the ground, lift your belly. Let your right leg rise up nice and high, lifting the heel and then opening up the hip. Press through both heels, press through both hands, breathe. And then bend that right leg. Bring your right knee right beside your right thumb here on the mat. Your chin is going to be diagonal across the mat. You're going to send your left leg back behind you here. Lift your chest up as you breathe in. And as you breathe out, fold forward. Try to settle your hips, rest your head somewhere. And if this does not feel good on your knee, you're just going to drop over onto the right hip and fold forward from here, taking the pressure off the knee. Staying here, releasing tension in those hips for at least 5 breaths. Just charging the body of all of the trauma, the fear that we've been experiencing. Letting it go through the deep breaths, through the movement, through the intention. Continue to fill your body up with your inhale. Empty and soften your body with your exhale. Let's take one more deep breath together. Inhaling deeply through the nose. Exhaling through the mouth. And then climbing back up onto the hands. Allowing that right leg to go back beside the left leg. Move back far on your mat here so you can walk those hands a little further forward. Maybe take them right out to the edges of the mat. Maybe even grab onto the mat with your hands. Just grab a handful of mat. Lift your tailbone really high. As you pull the mat forward, let your heart sink low. Resting your chin or your forehead down on the mat. And then softening all the spaces behind the chest, the shoulder blades. Keeping a little tone, a little lift to the belly. Two more breaths here. Next time you breathe in, lift your face. Walk your hands back underneath your shoulders. walk your knees back underneath your hips. Curl your toes under, lift your tailbone, press your hands forward, press your hips back, lift your knees, descend through your heels, and relax your neck. You can walk your feet a little closer together in the center line of the mat, and then lift your left leg up nice and high. Heel goes up first, and then we open up the hips. Press through both heels. Try to lift as high as you can for one deep breath. And then soften that left knee. Bring your knee to the space right beside your left thumb. Your toes move to the right side. We're going to extend that right leg back as far as it'll go behind you. And then perhaps dropping the left hip if the knee isn't happy. Lifting up the heart to breathe in. And then exhaling to fold. Take your elbows wide so your shoulders can relax. Rest your forehead if you can. You can always rest on the mat. You can rest on your hands. You can stack your forearms to create a bigger shelf. Come back to that mindful, deep, releasing breath. Give yourself permission to let go. Find a level of acceptance that allows your body to finally discharge and release. And taking 2 more deep breaths here. When you're ready, climb back up onto your hands. This time we're going to curl the back toe under. Allow for your front leg back to go back and join the back leg in plank position. Feel your strength right away. Squeeze the inner line of your thighs together. Lower the knees if you wish, and then lower the body. Point your toes, raise up through the heart space. Pausing for a moment here to press the heart forward, the shoulders down. Making your way into downward facing dog, using your belly to guide you, lifting you and supporting you, transitioning into the new shape. And then once again, letting the knees gently come back down to the ground. We're going to turn to face the long side of the mat. And then just have a seat back on your heels for a moment. We're going to be moving into a nice deep groin opening stretch called frog pose. So we go sideways on the mat in order to give some space for those knees to go as wide apart as you can with your big toes still touching. So it looks something like child's pose when you get in, but just wider in the legs. Once you get to this space, place your hands down on the floor in front of you. And then move some weight into your hands. We're going to allow for those feet now to come out so that your shins are parallel to each other and your ankles, your inner ankles are pressing down towards the floor so your feet are flexed. If you need to provide some cushioning or support under your knees, please feel free. You could also do this pose laying on your back so that your legs are in the same position but you're just laying on your back. Press your hips back a little bit towards your heels. Just explore where you feel tight. Find a moderate place to rest before coming down onto your elbows. Once you come onto your elbows, see if you can lift your tailbone a little bit, drop your belly a little bit. Get that little bit of pelvic tilt happening and feel the stretch move into a different part of your pelvis here. Try to relax your head if you want to. Again, you could rest your head down. You could stack your fists. You could make prayer hands and support with your thumbs on your forehead. Unclench your teeth, relax your jaw. Stay with me. me 3 more breaths. Coming up onto the forearms, and then eventually up onto the hands. We're going to place weight into the hands so that you can bring your toes back together again behind you. And then just incrementally, a little bit at a time, draw those knees a little closer together until eventually they come to touch. Thighs are touching. We're just going to press the hips to the right side of your heels here, just over to the side slightly. And then we're going to transition through the middle and then go to the left side of your heels. Just press the hips down. Go back and forth a couple of times, just releasing the hips and massaging the groin space internally here with this movement. And then letting the hands come up onto your thighs. Letting your shoulders come back over top of your hips. Circling those shoulders up, back, and down. Just letting yourself close your eyes for a moment. Notice and experience sensation in your body. And then very gently open the eyes. We're just going to turn the body back longwise on the mat here. Separate your knees just a little bit and take your hands behind you. We're going to lift up your heart space, tuck your tailbone towards the back of your knees here, and press your inner kneecap down towards the ground. You pull your hip bones up towards your shoulders to feel the length starting to be created here in the front of your thighs. Some of you may be able to come back onto your elbows or lay back flat on the ground. Please feel free to do that. Or just softening your elbows a little bit. We're trying to create ease in the body, so backing off a little bit from what you may normally do. Letting yourself just feel a gentle release. There's no force necessary. Spending about 4 more breaths, so if you feel like you have a little more space, you want to go a little bit deeper. Now that the body is gently released, feel free. You can come back onto the elbows. Keep pressing the knees down though. Don't allow for those knees to leave the mat. If they do, just put the hands back in place. And stay for 2 more deep breaths. If you're on your elbows, gently come back up onto your hands. Try to rise up slowly and evenly. And then let your body just slowly bow forward. You can separate the knees a little bit. Let your head come to rest on the ground. Let your shoulders just collapse here over your thighs. Your arms are heavy. And drawing the navel in towards the spine, just scoop yourself up, stacking that spine, head comes up. And then we'll take the knees to one side, the hips to the other side, and bring yourself around to lie on your back. So we're just gonna slowly come onto the back body. Your feet are close to your hips. Your shoulder blades draw together underneath you. Knees and ankles are hip distance apart. Big toes slightly turned in towards each other, hands flat on the ground. Press into your feet, begin to raise your pelvis here into a bridge pose. If you can, interlace your hands underneath. Extend your arms and press your arms into the earth as you press your hips up to the ceiling. Make sure your neck is long, there's space for your throat. Take 2 breaths. Release your hands, release your spine, slowly rolling it down to the earth. Take a moment. We're going to do this again. So when you're ready, press into your feet, raise your hips, interlace your hands if it's okay for you, lengthen your arms, walk your shoulders a little more underneath you. Draw the inner thighs slightly together so they're not splaying open. Release your hands, release your spine. Integrate it 1 vertebra at a time back down to the mat. And we're going to do this one last time here. 3 bridges today. Pressing into your feet when you're ready. Raising your hips, interlacing underneath, lengthening, walking those shoulders under, and pressing into those legs. Lifting your heart towards your face, pressing your knees away from your hips. Last breath. Release your hands, release your spine. Once your tailbone touches the ground, lift your feet up, hug your knees into your chest. Press the thighs down into your belly space, roll gently side to side. Excellent. Keep your legs where they are. Extend your arms out to the sides. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, let your knees drop over towards your right arm and see if you can rest those legs down on the ground. If they don't rest, at least rest your feet down. Make sure your shoulders are anchored. If you want a little bit of extra stretch here, you can straighten your left leg. See if you can grab onto the toe and extend out through the heel. Turn your head away from your legs and lengthen the left side of your waist. Release the toe if you have it, bend your knee. Let your top leg rise to the center by itself. Bottom leg can follow when there's no more room to move. When you get there, take a deep breath in. As you breathe out, legs, you're going to go to the left side this time, close to your arm if possible. If you want to, extend your right leg, grab the toe, and then press out through that heel. Right shoulder anchored, right side of your waist long. Turn your head towards the right as well. Eyes to center. Release your toe. Bend your leg. Top leg rises. Keep your legs wide now as you come all the way to center. And then reach between your legs with both arms. Grab onto the baby toe edges of your feet. And then lift your ankles so they're above your knees, but pull down on your feet to bring your thighs down alongside your body. Happy baby pose. Try to press the sacrum back down, press the outer shoulders back down, open up the hips, open up the heart. Release your right foot only, take it down to the mat. Knees bent, foot flat. Take your left foot, place it on top of the right thigh, nice and close to your hip, And gently press that knee open. Flatten out onto the sacrum again. Make sure your hips are square. Now if you want to, go ahead and raise your right foot off the floor with your left foot here on your thigh. Try to relax your shoulders. There's no real grip with your hands here. They're just resting. Use your belly strength. Place your right foot back down on the floor. Cross your left leg all the way over your right leg now. And then let your legs drift over to the right. Another stretch variation, twist variation. Just feel the hip involved a little more in this one. Slowly come back to center, unwind those legs. Both feet come off the floor, separate your knees, arms go between, grab those feet again, and come back to happy baby pose. Now for this one, you can add the variation of holding on to the inside, the big toe edge of your foot, and perhaps straightening one leg, and then bringing it back in, and then straightening the other leg, and bringing it back in. And if you're feeling really open, go ahead and straighten both legs. Any variation from happy baby to the open position, just feel your body relax and respond. If the legs are straight, let's gently bend those knees again. Lower your left foot down to the floor, take your right ankle on top of your left thigh. Use your hand to gently press the knee away and come onto that sacrum nice and flat. Either stay here and just enjoy this gentle stretch, or lift your left foot off the floor and add just a little bit more sensation. Let your left foot come down. Take your right foot all the way over. Slide those thighs together, knees side by side. Let your arms come out to the side. Your knees are going to drift over to the left. Feeling that? Add a little stretch. You could add hand on top of thigh here on the left side if you like. Turn your face away. Slowly come back to center, unwinding everything. Take your feet wide to the edges of the mat. Your hands are on your belly. Your knees come together to rest here. Just taking a moment to check in once again with how you feel. We're going to end the class with a few minutes of stillness. You can either choose to lay here on the ground in Shavasana, or if you would prefer to return to a seated position for a brief meditation. Just take a moment to make yourself comfortable. Whatever position that you've chosen, please just close your eyes. Let your shoulders completely relax. Relax your jaw. Feel the entire length of your spine soften. yourself fully arrive in this present moment. So connected with your body. Noticing the shifts that have taken place for you in this last little while of movement and breath. Shifting from fear into faith. From a sense of lack into a sense of abundance. A sense of grief into a sense of joy. Surrendering from this feeling of lack of control into an understanding that in this moment you are healthy. In this moment you are safe. In this moment you have all that you need. In this moment you're okay. Just surrender. Just breathe. Aware of the space, this current time and feeling in your body. Either remaining lying if you're lying, or if you prefer to come and sit with me to seal the practice. We'll take the hands to the heart space today, just bowing the head in. And committing to just embracing this time of rest, collective rest, all of us together. This time of connection from afar. This time when we really resonate with those that mean the most to us. And all the stuff that's not important is just slowly drifting away. It's a time of opportunity. It's a time to create peace in our homes, in our lives, so that we have a different perspective moving forward. My heart bows to each and every one of your hearts with such gratitude for joining me, breathing together, moving together, sharing our heart spaces. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me, and I really hope to see you again soon, live and in person. Thank you.